All right. It is Tuesday. I'm here with Joy Behar. She's looking at her phone, but we are behind the table. Hello, Joy.
I'm usually on Wednesday.
Yes,
but
we know.
I like to go back and forth because sometimes I have a matinee on Wednesday.
I understand. Much like your father, you love your
Did I
matinees.
ever tell that story?
Many times, but I enjoy it. We were just talking about response to the show, and I'm, an egomaniac, so I'm reading this thread on Reddit. Thoughts on Brian?
Oh.
What do you all think of Brian? Any Bri guys or Bri gals out there? And then one person, I feel for him trying to get Whoopi to go to commercial, which I appreciate. Thank you for that. This one, I hope Brian sees that there's a thread dedicated totally to him. Ha ha, he would love it. He comes across like someone who loves attention. LOL.
Really? How perceptive.
I think they're really getting me, which I appreciate.
Is that from your wife?
Nah, I don't. She doesn't go on Reddit or identify as a Bri guy. Here we go. This one is my favorite. It says, let's see, something about his eagerness to be the center of attention is a little off-putting. That's fun. And there's lots of nice ones. Bri guy here.
They
yada,
really
yada.
pick up on your
Oh, they really see
your
things through.
neediness.
This is my favorite. Kind of enjoyed him as a reasonable foil to the women. However, my wife listens to the podcast, and now I can't stand him. So, thank you for that. But I appreciate all of the lovely things being said. All right. We talked about former President Biden's prostate cancer diagnosis yesterday. You weren't with us. What was your initial reaction to hearing this? I'm sure you were
I felt
upset.
bad about it.
Yeah.
I even posted a picture of him and me looking like we were in love with each other.
Yeah.
Because when he was on last time, I said to him, take a picture with me straight camera because every time we take a picture, we look like we're in love. And he said, we are.
Oh, there you go. See?
And then he said, you know what? If you need anything, call me.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
That's
I
lovely.
think he's a decent guy. I like him. There are many, every president is controversial in a different way, you know. But I don't want to read a list, but the guy's accomplishments were quite impressive.
Yeah. I think...
With or without the cancer, with or without the slowness, with or without this stutter. The guy had a stutter. A lot of times I think sometimes when he was haltering, his speech was haltering, I think it had to do with the stutter.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting time for this revelation because we were in the middle of these conversations. We talked about it on Friday when you were moderating with these books coming out. We talked about it today a little bit. Do you think his diagnosis will impact that conversation? Will make will impact the coverage of him going forward? Will people?
You mean they'll leave him alone finally?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
You would think.
Yeah.
Well, the news is interesting. It's sort of running out of steam on the topic now. So they'll probably have to get to Trump. I mean, he also said something about stage 9 cancer.
Yeah.
He said that Biden had stage 9. There is nothing past stage 4. And his son, Junior, said that Dr. Biden, Jill, should know that he had stage 5 cancer. First of all, only number 4. And she is not a medical doctor. She's a PhD. The kid, can't he inform himself or what?
I don't know. We also talked today to basketball legend Dawn Staley about growing up in the projects of North Philly. And in her memoir, she talks about how the whole neighborhood raised her and everyone looked out for each other.
Right.
I kind of feel like
that.
you grew up in a similar way. Is that
I
something
grew
you
up
relate
exactly
to?
like that. I was surrounded by people and bookies. And the bookies were always around because they didn't have a job. They just ran numbers. And like if anybody that was different came around that they didn't recognize, they would know it. And everyone was out on the stoop. Remember I'm so old. Nobody had air conditioning.
But
I believe that air conditioning has destroyed the community.
You think so?
Yes.
But you're not going to go without it.
No, of course not. But I prefer to be cool than to the community. I mean,
Sure.
really, at the end of the day.
The hell with civilization. You need to regulate your temperature.
That is the problem with the whole world. Nobody wants to sweat.
Right.
But when I was a kid, everyone was on the stoop outside of my building in Williamsburg.
Now, for me, I think about this a lot because when I was a kid in my neighborhood, I went out in the afternoons and came back around sunset.
Yeah,
and I didn't really
for dinner.
and I didn't really have any one watching exactly where I was and what I was doing. With my kids, I'm much more aware of where they are.
Well, you know
times.
why? I blame that on Oprah Winfrey and Phil Donahue.
Scaring the hell out of everybody.
Because they had those shows that suddenly they made it like there was a child molester around every corner.
And listen, there are dangers out there. I mean, there's no question.
Now you can go online and see who's in the neighborhood, anybody who's on the offenders list.
But you've got a grandson that's about the age of my daughter's.
14.
Do you feel like... Are we too protective now, or what do you think?
I think it's a balance. My father was really like the internet is now. He would say, don't go to the park after 7 o'clock. After it gets dark, don't go to the park. He didn't mind that. I used to go to McCarran Park in Williamsburg,
Right.
hang out, play tennis, play what's that, racquetball.
Yeah.
And I'd come home before it was dark, and I'd go to dinner, and I stayed in for the night. I didn't go out at night. I was a kid.
Right.
But during the day, they seemed to be okay with it. I was more afraid of girls from other neighborhoods coming and beating the bejesus out of me.
Yeah, that wasn't
because
good.
I wore the Bermuda shorts.
Yeah, I know. The Bermuda shorts are really the bane of your existence.
They are.
Yeah.
If you know, like, it's like, you know, the movie Citizen Kane.
Yes.
That it was Rosebud and it was the sled.
This
that
is your
made him-
one.
Mine is just hang a pair of Bermuda shorts, and that is symbolic of my childhood.
When was the last
and
time
the
you
misery.
wore? What was the last time you wore Bermuda shorts?
I never wore them again.
Yeah.
I wore them when I went to Springfield, Massachusetts, because they were a little more tolerant of Bermuda shorts there.
Why did you keep wearing them at all? Why didn't you make a change?
You know, I'd go to Springfield.
Yes.
I'd look good in the Bermuda shorts, and everybody would have them.
Sure.
So I would now translate them to a neighborhood where the girls were wearing weapons for clothing. They'd wear like motorcycle jackets
Yeah.
and garrison belts.
have, like, spikes,
and there I
yeah.
show up with Bermuda shorts. It was not attractive.
No, it's like
There.
yeah,
So then I stopped wearing them because they would come and want to beat the bejesus. I'm telling you.
yeah.
Did you call my girlfriend Thomasina a tramp? I don't even know who was your girlfriend.
No, but that does sound like something you would do.
But not to their face.
No, of course not. We have a legal note. Thomasina, not a tramp. Just
No.
a friendly girl.
I don't even know who. There's no
I don't know.
such
I know. I
person
just
as
made her up.
Thomasina.
I'm aware. I know. I'm
Yeah.
trying to be funny.
Anyway, what's the name Thomasina?
I don't know. It's first I'd heard of it,
You
but I
know
like
what
it.
it is? It's like they take a boy's name and
Yeah.
then they stretch it and make it into a girl's name.
Yes.
So Robert becomes Roberta.
Right.
Joseph becomes Josephine, which is what my
Your name is, yeah.
Now, I gave my daughter the name Eve because it was a singular sensation. I did not want it to be an attachment to a male name.
There you go. I was friends with a girl in elementary school named Bryna.
Well,
Brian
there's
and Brenda.
Brianna.
Brianna. that's-
Brianna.
yeah.
I think, not Brian.
I had a friend named Bryna.
Brian, maybe they didn't spell it right.
Bryna.
Bryna.
Yeah.
Oh, like Bryna. Bryna?
Yeah, it was Bryna.
The
Yeah.
whole thing doesn't make sense.
All right, I'm telling
All
you.
right.
There was also, and Bree and Brienne and all that kind of stuff. All right. Keke Palmer. You know Keke Palmer.
Yes.
She made some news discussing how incredibly important it is to live below her means.
Oh.
This is very smart advice, I think, but it's something
Yes.
that's kind of hard to do. Is that something you feel like you've been able to do in your life? Have you, I mean, you're conscious about money, I think.
My philosophy is not how much you make, it's how much you spend.
Mm-hmm.
That's assuming that you have an income. I mean, there are people out there who have, they've been thrown out of their jobs now by this administration. So they
Sure.
have, and then they also, because medical assistance and medical insurance is attached to your job, they don't have that either now.
Right.
So these are the type of people who are going to be homeless out there.
Right.
People
I
should
mean,
be aware
it's a
of that.
first world problem, certainly, to even consider living below your means because.
Yes, well,
you
she
know,
has money. She's been
Yeah.
she's had a job a long time, and she's a talented girl.
Yeah, big movie star now. Yeah.
But I agree with her to some extent. I mean, most people overspend.
Yeah.
You know, they buy too many designer things.
Right. You enjoy a tag sale.
I love a tag sale. I love a
Sample sale.
The Woodbury Commons. I want to go to. They have a lot of little
Right.
stores there.
I wouldn't say you're cheap, but you're thrifty.
I'm not cheap.
Yeah, you're thrifty though.
I'm cautious.
You're cautious. I think that's smart. I think that's good.
Why do you say that about me? You don't even know me that well.
I've known you for 10 years.
I know, but you don't know my spending habits.
I hear what you spend. I hear what you do. I've
Give
been
me
out to lunch with you.
Oh, you mean I didn't pick up the check to pay for your
No,
lunch?
I mean I'm just saying. I've been 10 Christmases. I'm just saying you're a little thrifty. It's fine.
I'm not giving you a gift at Christmas.
I know. Ellen DeGeneres she bought her executive producer a car. How about that?
I think you always say I work for you. You're the one who should be giving me a gift.
Yeah, I do every year.
Well, you do so good, but
All right.
you want one back. Is that it?
Yeah.
I don't know how to buy you a gift.
You
What
could
would
be
I
thoughtful. I don't know.
What would I
could
get
just-
you?
I'll
I'll do it this year, but just tell me what you want.
I don't want to tell you what I want. I want you to think about me and angst over it and come up with something that is
I feel
meaningful.
that my presence on the podcast is enough of a gift.
It's a pretty good gift. I'm not going to
Thank
lie. I do appreciate it. I don't remember how we got there. Oh, living beneath your means. So I did say this. I talked to Alyssa about this yesterday. The only counter to that, I think, is because Heather and I have talked about this. We have family members that have gotten older and regret not traveling when they were younger, not taking, opportunity to kind of live in the moment. And, you're saving for another day, and that's important. But at the same time, don't you want to live the best life you can when you can? Any truth?
You-
Anything to that?
Do I have regrets? Is that the question?
No, I'm saying, do you think there's anything to the idea that, maybe stretch and have life experiences now
Yeah, you should, but
Yeah.
do it within your means.
within your means?
Like my husband, when he was like 19, he backpacked across Europe.
Okay, that's good.
And I regret that I could never do that.
Right.
One time we were talking on the air, Barbara was on the show, and we were talking about Albert Finney and Audrey Hepburn in the movie Two for the Road.
Yes.
And it's all about this couple when they meet and then they get married and they do different time periods, and they're together and they're in love and they're sleeping together in hotels, and then they're in Paris and then they're here and then they're all over the place in a car. And I said, I really regret that I did not do something like that. And Barbara said to me, Albert Finney would never go out with you.
That's pretty good.
And I
Yeah.
said, how do you know, Barbara? The Brits like me.
My reference for Albert Finney is Daddy Warbucks in Annie.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You should see Two
Talk
for
about
the
a guy
Road.
who was not cheap. There you go.
I recommend Two for the Road. You want to talk about a romantic comedy?
Yes.
That is a great romantic comedy. And it's not that funny, but it's very, very evocative. And then there's also another one I would talk Love with the Proper Stranger. Love with the Proper Stranger is Natalie Wood and Steve McQueen. And you'll love that movie.
I'm going to set you up with something called Letterboxd. It's a social media thing where people just write about movies they love.
Oh,
and
I
I think you
have
would
a
enjoy
lot.
it. I know you do.
Notorious is my favorite Alfred Hitchcock movie, for example. Ingrid Bergman, Cary Grant. I love Ingrid Bergman. I think she's my favorite actress of all time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Better than your Catherine Deneuve?
Well, Deneuve is my favorite foreign actress.
Yes, okay.
Ingrid was an American. She came here from Sweden, but she was American.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Another thing we talked about yesterday were the unwritten rules of guest etiquette. And I know you have a wedding you're going to soon.
Oh.
You're not abiding by the dress code. By the way, we had a wedding here at the office this weekend. Sonny wore a black dress. I just want to point that out.
Is
after
it? Yeah,
shaming
but it
you.
was a nighttime wedding.
It was a nighttime wedding.
This is a daytime wedding.
Okay.
No, maybe it's not, but it's kind of outside in the
Yeah.
you know.
What are Joy Behar's rules for a wedding? Let's hear about it. What do you think of?
Don't compete with the bride.
Yes.
Apparently, you can't wear white.
Apparently.
The white is supposed to indicate virginity. How many of these brides today are actual virgins?
I'm not gonna-
99
yeah.
out of 100 are not.
Yeah.
So what's the difference if you wear white?
All right. Good point. Good point. What else?
What else? What?
For a wedding, what are the rules? I got called out yesterday for not attending the ceremony. I had a reason. I had an excuse.
Oh, the
but
ceremony.
I wasn't able to attend the ceremony. There was a long pause.
Well,
in
see,
between.
when you're a Catholic, which I grew up Catholic,
Yes.
they have the ceremony is like at the morning or something.
That's what this was. Yeah.
And then where are you supposed to go all afternoon?
that's the problem,
You know,
right.
And then the reception. See, I got married first. I got married in the first marriage,
Mm-hmm.
the Catholic Church, in the thing, and then we didn't do a reception right away. We went over to Leonard's of Great Neck,
Oh, yeah.
where we did.
Where my parents got married.
Where we had a rabbinical ceremony because he was Jewish.
Yeah.
And then after that ceremony, we went to the reception. So it was like flow.
All right, I like that. That's a
Yeah.
good way to go. All right, I talked to Alyssa about this yesterday also, but there was a recent story that said never ask your married friends for dating advice.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
The author said that just because we managed to convince another human to say I do does not mean that we have any romantic superpowers. Do you agree with that, or do you feel like you actually do have
I know
romantic
plenty.
insight?
I know plenty. I could help these girls.
Yeah, I mean, there's girls on our staff. I feel like
Not only
you know,
was I married twice, but I dated also.
Right.
So I have a lot of experience. And, when you get to be my age, you have a lot of experience about a lot of things.
All right. Well, listen, if you're at home and you have romantic advice you'd like from Joy Behar, I think you should write to us.
I used to have an advice column. I think it was in Good Housekeeping.
So what is Joy Behar's biggest advice for newlyweds?
For newlyweds?
Yes.
Just remember the reality of it. You're going to enjoy this part. You should enjoy it for a while, but it doesn't last.
Yeah.
That whole idea of running towards each other in slow motion is biologically determined. So you read Helen Fisher. Helen Fisher, great anthropologist, she wrote a book about this. People are evolutionarily primed to be in this hot sexual frenzy in the beginning when they first meet each other. That is so that you can procreate.
Yes.
Without that, you're not going to have any children. The world comes to an end.
Yes.
But it doesn't go on because once you've succeeded and you've accomplished that, you don't have to do it like that anymore. And that is the big joke that's played on married people.
Yeah, this explains a lot. Thank you for clearing this up.
It does. It's all biological. It's all evolution.
All right. That's a bummer. Today in the office, there was this conversation about how marriage and serious relationships are just a series of compromises. Yeah. What I think that's true.
No, I don't agree with that.
Well, you're not really a compromiser.
Neither is my husband. We don't. What do I have to compromise about? It's a So today you want to go to an Italian restaurant. Tomorrow I want to go to Chinese.
Right.
So I'll go to Chinese tomorrow and you'll go to yours today. I mean, what's the big deal?
Yeah. You don't feel like you have to sublimate anything you want for your husband?
Like what?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't even understand.
Life decisions. You don't make any compromises in your relationship?
Life decisions?
Yeah.
We make decisions together, but sometimes he's adamant. I'm not doing that, okay?
Where does he take a stand? What are the things that he just digs in on?
The car.
What kind of car you have?
No. He won't let me drive if he's in the car. If
Yeah.
I'm driving and he's not in the car and I crash, I guess that doesn't bother him.
Right.
But if he's in the car, I cannot drive. He was so annoying about it that I've banned him from the passenger seat. From now on, even if it's my car, he has to drive it.
Vacations are mine. I usually make the call on vacations.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Well, we don't like the beach. We have things in common about it. We like the
Right.
same things for vacations.
Are there any ways you're very different and just like completely different things?
He and I?
Yeah.
Well, I'm like a whirling dervish with a million things to do.
Yes.
He's the opposite. He could just stay home, do a crossword puzzle, watch Law and Order reruns, and take the dog out. He's happy.
It sounds like you like most of those things too. Law and Order and the crossword puzzle
But
and
I
the
like
dog.
having someone who's like an anchor for
Yes.
me. If two of us were whirling or twirling around,
Right.
it would be brutal.
Do you feel like you are more similar than different?
We're very similar. We both have the same philosophy of life. We both have the same feelings about religion. We both I never had a baby with him, but he was a great stepfather to my daughter and a great grandpa to my grandson. And so he's a very good person. My husband is a solid human being and a quality person.
That's pretty much all you can ask for. That's pretty
That's
good.
it. He is a quality human being,
Yeah.
as are you.
My wife is actually. I have to
Yeah.
say she's a better person than I am. Usually.
And I think it's important for people to look at things like that and not say, well, he doesn't have the right, he doesn't make enough money, or whatever people
Well,
get.
you have to respect the person you're with, I think, to be happy. I think on a basic level. I mean, for me, it's sense of humor. I need someone who's gonna make me laugh or laugh at my jokes or both.
You know what? When I fight with him over something stupid, it goes away to like that.
Yeah, well, that's you with everybody. But yes, I mean,
Well, I don't hold grudges.
I appreciate that.
I don't hold grudges. I like everybody, and I can also hate them in the moment.
Yes, no, I'm aware. I mean, I've been on both sides of the scale within a matter of an hour.
Yeah, but isn't it refreshing to work with somebody who doesn't hold a grudge?
It is. It is. I mean, you will boil my blood when you're fighting with me,
Yeah.
and then minutes later you're like, "Hey, Brian," and everything's fine. It's bizarre, but it's good. It's definitely good. Before we go, we have a
Why
question.
do I boil your blood?
Oh my God, when you're pushing back at me about something and
About what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
generally.
Well, I have strong opinions about what I want to talk about.
I do, but sometimes you come in decided, dug in that you don't want to talk about something, and you will not be moved by
Yeah,
any
well, that
logic or
happens.
anything else.
That
Yes,
happens.
and
Am I worse than Whoopi or better than Whoopi in that?
you're actually harder to move.
I'm harder to move.
You're
than
harder
Whoopi.
than move. Whoopi at a certain point will say, "All right, whatever you guys want to do is
Yeah,
fine."
I
Like,
say
you know.
that now too.
Yeah, you don't mean it.
No,
though.
what I say is, okay, do whatever you want.
Yes.
It's a different.
And then I come in your office and you're like, "So we're doing that stupid thing," and that kind of thing.
Well, that Brazil story today. Come on.
Oh, I thought that killed. That wasn't me. I mean, that was the other host. I wanted to do that. That was pretty good. You killed it with the.
I did.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. All right. We have, of course, and relatable or debatable is the mantra, of course, for you for all hot topics.
the guy who used to do the research here.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He quotes me when he coaches people.
Yes.
He coaches. He says, Joy always says, it should be relatable or debatable, a topic.
Yeah.
And the other thing he always says is, this is a volleyball game, not a golf game.
Yes. Both of those things are true. You decide what's relatable into your, you can just decide something's relatable, though, and maybe it's not for anybody else, and you're still fine with it.
No,
But
no,
it's like-
I think like the audience. Is it relatable to the audience?
Yes. But generally speaking, anything you're interested in is deemed relatable. I just want to point that out. All right. Before we go, we have a question from Molly in Michigan. I like alliteration. What's your favorite part of being a redhead? I have redheaded daughters. I'm curious.
My favorite part of being a redhead is
Yes.
that, as you go older, you're supposed to your hair's supposed to get lighter.
Yes.
So, you don't have dark black hair anymore with aging skin.
Right.
So everybody in my family all became blondes. Mm-hmm. I mean, platinum blondes. Now, when I put on a black platinum blonde wig, I look ridiculous. I look like, I don't know, something weird.
I'd be curious to see you as
It's
a platinum
not
blonde.
pretty.
Maybe Halloween.
But I don't want to be a brunette anymore because so red was a compromise.
Yeah.
And with highlights so that it's a blondish.
I feel like you're now like an iconic redhead, even though you're,
Well, whatever. It's not. And my mother, I used to say to my mother, I'm never going to have like a little old lady mother with white hair. Never. Never. she'd say.
Yeah. No, my both my daughters are redheads. I'm still haven't figured out how
They
that's
are
genetically
natural
possible.
redheads.
They are natural redheads.
As am I.
Yes, of course. You have that in common.
That's funny.
All right. Thank you for joining me today, Joy. Tomorrow I'll be back with Sarah Haynes, and we will see you then.